joining me tonight on Tuesday night Hangout Live with ToledoJess, Gano and I. Hey YouTubers and friends, sorry about that, but Murphy decided to show up. What would it be without him? But we have a really good show tonight with our good friend Patrick O'Masters of American Metal Detectorists. So if there's any beepers out there, he's the man to talk to. Check out their Facebook page. And a special guest, Ava, with a special little duet for us, or a little recital for us later. Talented young lady. So don't go away. We'll be right back. I'm sure you all heard Judy in the background. Oh, how is everybody tonight out there? I see we have our good friend Jaron Rich Cooley. Jaron Rich Cooley. We have Bob from Maine. And Jonathan. And, oh, let me scroll back. Richard Peel. And Ronald and Wendy and Mr. Tim Grimes. Oh, Randy Hunt. Thank you all for joining us tonight. You might experience a little lag at the moment, but that will change. Let me bring in my partner in crime and my other good friend, Mr. Dano the Mano, otherwise known as Rignad Man in the chat room. I'll get them right up here. How are you guys doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Doing good. Doing good.
Yeah, it was more user error than Murphy, to be honest.
It was you.
That music was something there, man. I listened to it for a minute when it was double playing. That kind of reminded me of the 70s.
Late 60s.
Yeah, late 60s.
Did it change or get better once you refreshed, Dano?
No, it just kept like double playing the song, like it was playing it twice, but at different timing.
Huh.
It was pretty wild.
Wow.
I thought, flashback, wow.
Hi, Kimberly, Thomas. Yeah, well, my streaming health is kind of orange right now, so you'll be experiencing a little lag. And like normal, it will get better. But I was trying to ping Yahoo because it seems to help. I see how many packets I'm dropping and stuff. And I inadvertently pushed shut down computer. Oops. So the blonde snuck through the red, and I had a oops. I blame it on my partial blondness. But
well, I take back all the things I was saying about Murphy while we were down.
Well, Murphy's Murphy comes in many disguises.
Well, hey, today, you know how I play poker online?
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I always wondered what would happen if I ever came face to face with Karma. Well, I did today, and she lost. But I've been working on a little project for us. we're not really going to announce it yet, but just a little hint. We were going to have a few things for sale for a little while, limited time, limited offer, but we'll talk more about that next week when it's all put together, when it's all done. But we have something for our friends and fellow prospectors out there.
But it'll be fun. That's not all.
No, yes, it is. Absolutely, that's all it is.
That's all it is, and it's no more.
That's it. That's it. But tune in next week, and we'll find out the rest of the story.
As Paul Harvey would say.
As our buddy Paul would say, yes. What about you, Daniel? What's up with you these days? You just, I know you said something about thinking about going out this weekend.
No, I might go out Sunday, maybe. It's saying rain right now, but I got to go to Patrick's house. I worked on his house, and when it did this major downpour, there was another little drip, so I've got to reinspect and figure out where that one come from. Oh. It hadn't did it since, but when we got this real hard driving rain, it finally pushed some water in, so I got to go figure out where it's at.
Yeah, water will do that when it's heavy downpour. It'll find all them little flaws in your roof.
But I figure if I get there bright and early Sunday morning, about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and jump right on it, I can be in the creek by about 10:30.
Yeah, okay.
It might warm up a little by then, too. Friday, it's supposed to start off the day at like 28 degrees. So.
Yep, I got good waders, so I'll strap them on and hit the creek.
Yeah, I was there at Cabela's when you bought those new waders.
That was a whole good fun day, wasn't it?
No, yeah, I had a really good day that day.
And people thought I was nuts trying waders on. What's this fat guy trying to do?
If they only knew,
waders.
Right? If they
That's
only
right.
knew.
I sure ain't going duck hunting, brother.
That's some pretty wicked weather this week, too.
Yeah, buddy.
Patrick said they had 6 tornadoes.
6 tornadoes, yeah.
Well, I know Salina had 2. Finley,
and we never seen much.
Finley had something, but it's not a confirmed tornado.
Oh,
they look like heavy rain, high winds.
Yeah, we just had heavy rains. All we really got.
Yeah, shear winds or something like that.
We got some heavy rain up here. No really hard blowing wind, but a lot of heavy rain.
Hey, we ain't no weather station. Why are we talking weather?
Well, because it's small talk.
It's all part of it.
Well, because you were wanting to go out this weekend, you're talking about how it's supposed to rain, so that's how we got our weather.
Well, as it's not raining, I'll be in.
Yep. You always take an umbrella.
That too, or a canopy and set it up in the creek.
There you go. Yeah, I wish I would have done that when I went to Arkansas.
Crater of Diamonds.
Yeah. It would have been a whole lot easier. It was hot. Yeah, if you ever go there, go in the fall or early spring when it's not so hot. You know, because otherwise it's because you're out in the middle of open field.
And take a canopy with you regardless.
Yeah, either way, because there's no shade.
I've heard that from a few people. Actually, I think I have them on my friends list on Facebook. Someone who works there or something like that. So, but nonetheless, I feel like getting Patrick and Ava in here yet.
Oh,
let's get them in here.
Let's get them in here before they go. Man, this is boring. Let's get out of here. So who do we got tonight?
We have Patrick O'Masters and Ava. I'm not sure what Ava goes by, but for her last name. But Patrick will let us know, or she will. So.
Yeah. Hello, Patrick. You here?
I'm here. How's it going, guys?
Hi, there he is. Hi, Patrick.
Doing good.
And Ava, how are you today?
Good.
Excellent.
Ava, how old are you?
I'm 7.
7 years old. Very good. Very accomplished little girl too for a 7-year-old. Let me tell you,
Yep.
Yeah.
she's I think she's the princess of metal detecting as far as I'm concerned.
Yep. And loves to play in the dirt too.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, she
I see her in
likes
a common
she
dig.
likes
Yep.
prospecting, metal detecting, piano. And now, is piano the only instrument you play?
Yes.
For
Do
now,
you-
right?
She plays a pretty mean high banker.
Oh, nice. And I hear she swings a mean metal detector too.
Yeah, she's definitely a detectorist. She's known through the metal detecting world, that's for sure.
Nothing
Excellent.
wrong with that.
What's your best find so far, Ava?
My best find I've ever found so far is a Civil War button.
Ooh,
Oh.
wow.
Cool.
There's a lot of older people envious of you, I'm sure.
Yeah, man.
So Ava, do you like to metal detect to find?
Yes.
Well, no. I'm sure you like metal detecting, but I mean, do you metal detect to find things of history or to find things worth a lot of money, or both?
Both.
Both, huh? That's cool. So you learn a lot about history?
Yes.
Yeah. So what kind of things can you tell us?
Well, most times I find junk and coins, but sometimes I find like buttons and stuff that isn't coins.
Oh, okay, cool. So do you ever find anything really worth a lot of money?
No, not really.
No? But
Not
that's not
yet.
why you do it anyways, is it?
We went to New Jersey for a hunt out there about a month ago, and she did pretty well in the kids hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a seated hunt, and it was a lot of fun. We had a great time.
Ah, cool.
So Patrick, is this something like that she just picked up because Grandpa was doing it, or something that she says, Grandpa, I want to do that too? You know, I mean, is it, or did you whip her into it?
Well, we would. Susie and I are both avid.
Yes,
it's
yes.
in our blood, and
Right.
we would take her to the parks because she could play on the play set while we were detecting. And then one day she's like, I want to do that. So we rigged her up a little detector, and lo and behold, she just loves it.
Yeah, is she like a natural at it? Did she just pick it up real quick?
She's catching on real fast.
Oh, okay, cool. That's
It's a
always cool when you can get.
natural.
Yeah, that's always cool when you can get little kids involved in stuff like this. Even bigger kids, because we're all about, getting kids out from in front of the computers and out of the house and out into the dirt. Get 'em
Oh,
dirty.
kids plus dirt. Yeah, that's a good equation.
Yeah, I mean, what kid doesn't like to play in the dirt?
I still like to play in the dirt.
No, yeah, I was gonna say. I say,
Yeah,
wait a
Me
minute,
too.
I still like to too. So, Pat, what got you into doing this? I know that you've been prospecting gold for a while. What got you into metal detecting, or is that something you've always been into more than you are the gold prospecting?
I dabbled in detecting a little bit ever since I was, a kid and found my first, I got my hands on a metal detector and played with it. But I was never really into it. And I met Sue, and she's also a gold prospector, but she kind of introduced me into metal detecting. And when I found my first gold ring after having a metal detector of my own on the third day, it just, like gold fever, boom, it just struck.
Oh, I'll bet. Yeah. A lot less work, too, for that same amount of gold, huh?
Oh, yeah. If I find one gold ring, I find more gold than I'll find here in a whole season.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Right.
So how often, I mean, I know because I know you're into the history of all this. You're into history itself. But how often do you find gold? You found any gold coins yet?
No, I haven't found any gold coins. I've been around people that have found gold coins, but I haven't found any yet. And we haven't found much gold this year. We found a ring and an earring, some piece of jewelry. A lot of silver, though.
Yeah.
Last weekend, Susie turned up a suspender buckle from the 1700s, and about 20 minutes later, I turned up a 1906 V-nickel, that was the highlight of the day.
Oh, I think I saw that. You posted that on Facebook, didn't you?
I do believe I did, yes.
Yeah, in your group.
Yep.
What was the name of your group again?
American Metal Detectorists and Relic Recoverysts. It's a large group. There's over 3,000, maybe almost 4,000 now. And we like to share our finds and discuss, what we're doing out there. And we mold in and out of different groups back and forth, and we're associated with a couple of other groups.
Right.
And it's just a good way of getting to know like-minded people and getting out together. Met quite a few of the people in person and gone out detecting with them. It's just a blast.
I imagine. I'm sure it's no different than going out gold prospecting. Where you go out and you meet people and like-minded people. You just have fun playing in dirt, digging holes.
Yep, that's exactly what it's about. Yeah, it's a good time, and it's a clean family hobby. You can't really get in trouble when you're out there with your family.
Get you outdoors.
Another thing too, I noticed that you've gone, pretty much all over the country, metal detecting and gold prospecting. What's been your favorite place?
My favorite place. It was
your favorite place. Not your almost favorite, but your favorite.
It was my favorite place. I actually thoroughly enjoyed New Jersey. I was surprised when I saw the state as we're driving into it. It was nothing like I expected. And it was nothing like I expected. And we ended up at Ocean City. And that was it just blew me away. I'd never been on the boardwalk or done any detecting on the beach, and turned up a silver ring and a silver coin, and I was just stoked. So far, that's been my favorite place I've metal detected.
Cool.
Now, where have you gone metal detecting?
Where have I gone? Everywhere I can swing. If I go on a vacation, I take my detector with me. I've detected in Montana and Arizona and here in Ohio and all the surrounding states. Wherever we go, we probably have a metal detector in the trunk.
Now, you've been to some outings, I'll call them, where you've been invited to historical sites, your group, and recovered relics and stuff like that, right? Donate them to the museum or the historical society or something like that?
Yeah, there's a group, Sam Waters has been researching it for a few years now. It's the Civil War Preservation Project of Ohio, and they've been chasing General John Hunt Morgan and his raiders path through the state. They entered the state down around Cincinnati and zigzagged on up until they got to the northeast corner of the state where he was captured. And we've found lots of artifacts. We haven't really turned up any cannonballs. We found some artillery rounds, some smaller ones, and bullets and stirrups and lots of different types of artifacts, chasing them down. They even brought in a fellow with a ground-penetrating radar and turned up the body of a soldier in Morgan County that they were calling him Tommy McGee. That's not his real name. And since they pinpointed his exact location where his body rests, actually a memorial's going up for him. He's getting a proper military burial.
Oh.
Did you say that you got all the way up to northwest or northeast Ohio?
Yeah, I forget the name of the town, but there's markers where he was captured and everything. He's trying to get back across the Ohio River into Pennsylvania, but he just couldn't get across there. They were hot on his tail.
Okay. See, I mean, I never thought of the Civil War actually coming all the way up into Ohio, but I knew they had a underground railroad through Ohio. I didn't know that the Civil War itself actually reached up into Ohio as far as it did.
Yeah, it was the Ohio Guard was chasing him. Matter of fact, I believe that where he was captured was the northernmost battlefield of the Civil War. It was right here in Ohio.
That's crazy.
Wow. Learn something new every day.
All right.
Have you done any like War of 1812 sites or anything?
No, I haven't done anything like that. I'd like to.
You know, Dick Goldsmith's got a grave on his property that's a memorial.
Yeah, some general.
Yeah, some general or something like that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he said he had a bunch of buckskin people come out there one time and stay and kind of check the memorial out and camp there.
Cool. That's great stuff.
But I'm not sure what general it was. I can't remember what he told me now.
Well, if Dick shows up, maybe you could ask him in the room.
Yeah, he could tell us. He keeps a path mode to it.
Would you be interested in taking any phone calls, Patrick and Ava?
Well, sure. Ava stepped out right now, but sure. Anybody wants to ask a question, I'd be glad to chat with them.
All right. Well, phone lines are open. If anyone would like to call and ask Patrick a question or two.
Well, we got a question in the room here. What do you like to use? What detector do you like to use?
My detector du jour is a MineLab E-Track. I really like that machine. I also have an AT Pro and a Tesoro Vaquero. I have several machines. Like you have multiple fishing rods for different types of fish. I have different machines for different situations, but I really like that E-Track. It's a versatile machine. It's really powerful, multi-frequency, so it's good for a lot of different types of conditions and targets.
Cool. Everybody, we like on Gold Prospectors space, whenever they get somebody on like Kevin Hoagland or someone that's in the metal detecting like that too. The question everybody always wants to know, well, what's the best gold finding machine? And from what I've been able to figure out, that's not something that you would want to look for or be interested if you're here in the East Coast, east of the Mississippi, because we're gonna find more relics than you are gold nuggets.
Oh yeah. MineLab has come out with a new machine. I forget the name of it right off the bat for some reason, but it's pretty sensitive to small pieces of gold in the 1 grain range.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Which is about as big a pieces as you're going to encounter here in Ohio.
Right.
But, there's just so much ground to swing a coil over top of. You may never find a piece of gold in Ohio with a detector, unless it's a ring.
We're not going to find it.
Or real lucky to find a sizable nugget that the glaciers left behind.
Oh, yeah. Like those two brothers from Michigan found that big chunk up there at the Swank.
Yeah.
Right.
Something like that would surely sound off on a detector.
No doubt. Would be somebody definitely wouldn't want to pass up, huh?
No. It's funny because a lot of your trash targets have the same conductivity as gold. So if you like can tabs and nickels and gold, they're kind of in the same range. So if you're trying to like discriminate out can tabs, you're definitely gonna miss targets like gold. It's just the nature of the beast. You have to learn your machine and its tones and the nuances between the tones to try and be able to pick out the trash from the good stuff.
Something you always bring up, Jesse. You have to learn your machine, your
Right, regardless of what it is. Learn your tools.
So do you prefer not to use any discrimination at all, so you hear all your targets, Pat?
No, it depends on where I'm hunting. If I'm looking for recent drops, I'll turn down my sensitivity. Say I'm at a fairgrounds, and I'm just looking for stuff that people dropped a couple weeks before. Well, it's not going to be very deep in the ground, so I can turn my sensitivity down. And I might turn my discrimination up a little bit because I don't want all those pieces of aluminum can laying around. I'm, trying to cover a lot of ground and looking for the good stuff.
Right.
Right.
We find a lot of coins, a lot of change. I think right now, this year, Susie keeps real close track of all of our finds. I think we're probably in the $300 or $400 range in just clad coins we found this year.
Wow.
Heck yeah.
Definitely keep you in batteries, huh?
Definitely. Well, my first machine paid for my second machine.
Hey, I wish I could say that about my stuff.
Okay.
I have 2 metal detectors. I just don't seem to use them much.
Okay, so that Jersey was like the coolest place. What's been the weirdest place you ever found anything?
The weirdest place.
Weirdest, something that you would go, how in the hell did this get here? And, what's it doing out here?
They tore up the sidewalk down the road here, and it's near an old depot. It was built like in the early 1920s. And I was digging along, finding just junk, iron scrap and pieces of can and stuff like that. And out popped a 1911 wheat penny. I just was amazed that I was going to find that wheat penny there. Susie turned up a bronze point, an arrow point.
Wow.
In there's some brick streets in Victorian Village, and they were doing like the curbs where the handicap ramps go.
Right.
They tore up a bunch of brick, and she was actually in the side of the cut under the brick, and some sounded off, and she pulled it out, and it was a little bronze arrow point. Who'd have guessed?
Wow.
Wow.
I have a metal. I have an Ace 350, and of course, like everybody else, I went out in my yard when I first got it, and I found a lot of stuff. Found a nice Kennedy half out there, and, coins and a lot of garbage, and what I find is that even after you go over it and over it, you can always go back and go over it again and find something else. I thought I had my yard pretty well cleared up of all metal, just to do it, right? Just because, okay, I'm gonna take all this metal out of here because it's I can't tell what's what, So I figured that'd be one way to learn. Of course, after pull tabs and nuts and bolts and even little pieces of jewelry, and I think I got the yard all cleared out. I go back at it again, and I'm still finding stuff. I'm still pulling up, this or that, another nail or another bolt, or nothing
There's
really
no
good.
Mystery. There's no mystery to that either. There's plenty of good explanations for that. The moisture content of the soil changes, which makes your detector a little more or less sensitive. You've pulled out the trash, so you don't have the trash signals interfering. You're probably listening a little closer to your machine. You've got more experience with it,
right?
And you're picking up signals that you may not have picked up when you were newer with your machine. The ground does, the seasons change, the ground heaves and things move up and down in the soil just a little bit. There's all different kinds of explanations, but yeah, good places usually keep producing.
Karen also says swinging in a different direction also makes a difference too.
Oh yeah, yep, definitely. If you explore an area thoroughly and you grid it in one direction, turn 90 degrees and grid it the other. When you're done with that, go 45 degrees and grid it again.
Yeah, because I've noticed that too. Sometimes I'll be swinging one direction, and I'll turn around and swing that same spot from another angle, and I get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so and that gets confusing. So I guess if you're not patient enough, it's something that's going to get really difficult for you. So it's one of those things you have to keep learning your machine.
Yep. The sweet spot of your coil might be an inch off of a good target, and you wouldn't know it.
Right. Well, and that's something I noticed too. I swear the target is going to be right there. I only got to dig 4 inches down. It says 4 inches. I got a good, and I dig straight, and there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I'm down 6 inches, 8 inches, nothing. But if I move over a half inch or so, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what the hell?
Are you using a pinpointer too?
I was about to say, that's why they make pinpointers.
I know. But I didn't have one at first. But I know my coil a little better now, too.
Yep.
So now I know that, okay, it's really not going to be right in that exact spot. It's going to be over a little bit. So now I've learned to dig that way.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that 350's got that double D coil, so it's got a longer sweet spot in the middle of it. So you're not shooting a little spot, you're shooting a long spot in front of you, and it's a good machine. That's the first machine I bought, was a 350.
My first machine.
Yeah, I love it. That's a good for the money. It's point and go. Whenever anyone says, what machine should I get, having never owned a machine, I always tell them, get an Ace. They're great.
Yep.
Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hey, this is John down here in Texas. How you doing?
John Shaw. How you doing,
good.
buddy?
Hey, John.
Hey, Patrick, I'm kind of like Jesse. I got the Ace 350.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering, I'm thinking about upgrading to another machine. What would your suggestion be?
Well, if you're happy with the Garrett, the next logical step would be the AT series, and they have a new one out called the AT Max, which is a really good machine. It's got the best aspects of the AT Pro, and it has a backlight and has an adjustable frequency. It's a pretty good machine for the money, and that usually the next, because the learning curve is similar to the 350. If you can use the 350 and you're good with it, you could probably pick up an AT and use it pretty well right off the bat.
Okay. And I'm probably I need to get a new pinpointer. I just had a little cheaper one. I guess I'm going to get the, what do they call them, the Carrot?
The Garrett Carrot, they're great. I have one. I love it. I've been using it. It's been trouble-free for 2 years now, and that's usually their life expectancy. I probably should get another one before next season, because it'll break on me the first time I go to use it, now that I praise it so much.
All right. Well, that's what I kind of wanted to know, get somebody's opinion that's been out there and used the different machines. And, I thank you a whole lot.
Okay, John. Good luck to you, brother.
All right. And y'all have a great evening.
Thanks for calling, John.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pinpointers. Those are the greatest thing that I there are some old timers that are like, hey, I have never used no pinpointer. I don't need no pinpointer. You know what? They cut your digging time to about a fourth.
Every bit helps, huh, Pat?
Oh, heck yeah. Even Ava, she's got a pinpointer. She loves it, man.
Yeah, I use my pinpointer all the time now whenever I do go out.
Same here.
Can't say I don't have
I
one.
got kicked off here for a second, but I'm back.
It's all right.
I just got a cheap little metal detector I go out and play with. It finds everything. It beeps on everything.
I'm taking my pinpointer to work tomorrow. I use it at work quite a bit. I had a poured wall. Had to have a hole cut through this poured wall, a big hole, like 30 inches wide by 24 inches tall. And they wanted me to miss the reinforcement cables. It was a pre-stressed wall. They stretch out the cables or rebar, whatever's in it. Then they pour it. Then they take the tension off the cables and it pulls itself together. Well, they wanted this hole in the wall, but they wanted me to miss the rebar. So I took my little pinpointer out there and they're like, yeah, that was pretty slick. Well, tomorrow I'm going to a restaurant and they want me to cut a transfer grill through the wall, and the restaurant's in business and I don't want to just go poking holes through the wall, so I'm just going to take my pinpointer to find the metal studs.
Ah,
There you go.
I would do that too.
Good idea.
Well, isn't that what a stud finder is? Just a pinpointer?
Yeah, some of them. I can't go near the stud finders though. If I walk down,
Yeah, they blow
all
up.
start going off, man. It's just terrible.
I tell them that at work all the time. You stick it on your breastplate, your bone, and it'll go off. I say, see, I found a stud.
That's not what I was talking about, but okay.
I've actually ended up using mine once when I had it in the truck to find survey markers. You know, when they drive the rebar into the ground to mark property boundaries. I had to find one there, and we couldn't find it. And I go, I got my metal detector out of my truck. You think it's in this area? Yeah, it should be. Well, sure enough.
I've done the same.
They come in handy sometimes.
I love it when.
Go ahead.
I love it when people call, I've lost my ring. I got to find my ring. There's a whole network of people out there that will go to your house and find your lost ring for you for free. All they want to do is detect the rest of your yard.
You know?
Yeah, I was gonna talk to you a little bit about that. I that seems to be like the hardest thing to get past and getting permission to go on people's property. I know that, and I've seen it myself at times where people go into a piece of property and just dig holes and don't even try to repair or anything, and it just seems really bad. In fact, I went to what used to be a school property here in Toledo, and I was going to ask for permission, but as I walked up, I realized that somebody had already been there, and they dug holes all over the place, and I figured I probably wouldn't want to ask them.
Yeah.
You know. But,
yeah, when you do a spot like that, you want to put a little bit of the trash that you pick up in your pouch.
Right.
And show them, hey, I'm just picking up this trash too, you know, and fixing other people's holes, because those are the people that ruin it for everyone else.
Right.
There are people out there who are just phenomenal at getting great permissions. They'll go up to a house and without a care, knock on the door. They know how to talk. They're smooth, and I have only asked for a couple of permissions door knocking, and I got them. I mean, they gave me permission and stuff, but I could see where it's kind of intimidating to some people, you know. I sang in public. It was frightening the first time, but after you do it a little while, it's the same thing, you know. It gets easier if you keep
right.
It seems pretty easy for you now, buddy.
Yeah. I get turned down a lot, but that's one of the things too that I think makes it hard. Is a lot of people just don't understand what they're actually doing.
Well, yeah, you show up at somebody's house with a shovel in your hand and
Right.
you're in grubby clothes, got a metal detector slung over your shoulder, they're probably not going to give you permission.
Yeah.
But you spread around at work. You know, you tell your buddies at work, hey, yeah, make sure they know you metal detect, you know, and that's a good way to get some permissions too. Hey, I know this guy at work, and and it happens like that.
Oh man, does that mean I got to get a job?
Yeah, that's it.
I don't want to get a job. I like being retired.
Now's a good time for getting farm fields. A lot of these farm fields used to have houses on them a long time ago. You get on them historic aerial. There's a website, Historic Aerials. You can research your area and see where the old buildings were.
Yeah, even like oldmaps.com, you can check out old topo maps and see where buildings were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have that website also. I check on. Yeah, I've been actually able to find some old cellars in parks and stuff where there used to be a farmhouse. Yeah, historic aerials.
Mm-hmm.
And those have been really cool. To be able to find where a building was and go there and actually find the foundation or the remnants of it anyways.
Oh yeah, hunters run across these things in the woods all the time.
Yeah, but they don't tell everybody about them.
Well, if you hunt,
right.
Some of the state parks will allow you to hunt. In Ohio, you're allowed on the beaches. If it's a sandy beach, you're allowed to hunt on it. But some of them will allow you to hunt in other parts of the park. You just have to go to the ranger and ask them. Worst they can tell you is no.
Right.
Some have a permitting system where you can use 3 or 4 different parks on this same permit. And those cellar holes, you find them in the basement. They're great places to hunt.
Yeah, well, the one cellar hole that I did find, I actually just stumbled across it. Out, and it is a state park up near Grand Rapids. Actually, it's past Grand Rapids. Walking around out there, and just for some reason, it looked what I was looking at looked like a hole. It just it was off the path, but as I'm looking, it looked like a hole. So I walked over there, and sure enough, it was a cellar hole. The only problem was that somebody had already filled it in with a bunch of trash.
Bummer.
Yeah, washing machines, bed springs, this, that, the other. Just all kinds of crap in there. I'm going, in order for me to dig in here, I have to dig it out. Literally dig all the trash out of it before I can even think about swinging it there.
Well, but the house was sitting on it, so you might look all around it.
Right. Well, I wasn't at that particular.
Outhouse.
When I found that site, I didn't know whether I would be able to get permission to check it out. So in the meantime, I'm looking at historic aerials, and I'm looking at that spot, and I see that cellar or that building that used to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And then it showed that there was another one just west of it, about 100 yards or so. So I went back over there, and I found that one too. That one was harder to find because it didn't have the depression like the first one did. I mean, it wasn't like like there was an obvious hole there,
Oh,
but
okay.
I did find it, and I did find the outhouse to that one.
Nice.
Yeah, so
people racing out of the house got to go to the bathroom. They tend to lose stuff between the house and the outhouse.
That's what they say. But I've actually yet to metal detect it. Although I know I can. It's allowed.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't seen anybody there doing it either. So
outhouse digging is another art. There's people that excavate those darn things looking for bottles and whatnot. I have a probe for doing outhouses, but I've never used it. It was given to me, and I just haven't had the opportunity or the desire really to go digging through an outhouse.
Probe?
It's a long metal rod.
Oh,
you stick it in
kind of like privy hunters use.
Exactly, the privy probe.
Right. Or utility probe. Yeah. Have you ever hunted for old outhouses?
No,
Any of
I
that?
haven't had the inclination to do that. It seems kind of gross to me. Although I'm usually in the outhouse, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think every man's been there.
Yeah. Well, the little doghouse anyway. We did get a dog a couple weeks ago, by the way, a little puppy here. She's about 8 months
that's
old. We
cool.
got her from the shelter. Yeah, the cat's not happy with her.
So we got somebody on here, Jonathan Parrott. He's got that little piece of paradise. He's got an old wagon trail running through that property.
Sweet.
You know, he says it's great for metal detecting. I can imagine it would be. You know.
Yep. Plenty of old
But that-
stage stops. You know, those they had to stop
Right.
more frequently than we do. The Zane Trace and other traces went through the state, and there were stagecoach stops all along the line.
Yep, had to water them and feed them.
Yep. Yep. Good times right there, man.
It would have been a time to live, I know that.
I have one that I'm down in Ross County. I'm supposed to. Matter of fact, I should go down there before the weather gets too bad because the greenery started to die down. It's out deep in the woods, and there's stories of an old stage stop. I've checked it out a couple times. I haven't found the foundation yet.
No, I'm sure you'll come across it sooner or later, Pat.
Yeah, if feller goes down there enough, he will eventually stumble across it.
Yeah.
So what are you fellers up to this weekend?
Oh, probably honeydew stuff. And
Well,
Jesse was
yeah.
gonna come down Saturday, and we were gonna work on a couple of projects.
Play with some gold.
Play
Play
with
with
some,
some gold. Are you going to be playing with some nuggets?
maybe. I don't know. Probably fine gold.
No,
I don't know,
not-
Jesse.
I don't know. We got some stuff going on this weekend, though. Do some a little bit of editing, a little bit of video work. Get some things together for future stuff.
There you
Stuff.
go.
Right.
Buckeyes have a gathering this weekend. The chapter's got one at the Golden Corral up there in Mansfield.
Right. They got their monthly meeting.
The Christmas,
Saturday.
Thanksgiving get together for breakfast at the Golden Corral. I'll probably go to that instead of going out to the CWPPO's got a hunt this weekend too, but it's going to be cold and rainy, and with Ava just coming off of the creeping crud and Susie coming down with it, it's probably best if we don't go traipsing through the woods.
Bummer. But, there'll be more history out there.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
hope Sue feels better soon. It would have been nice if she would have been able to join us also, but get well soon, Sue. Now, can we talk? Is Ava back?
She is. She's right here.
Think we
Hi.
could talk her into a little entertainment?
Ooh.
Yes.
I
Well,
want to hear you play that song. Here, you want me to take your headphone?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
This
everyone,
number
you're in
is-
for a treat. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
This is called the Spider Dance or Tarantella.
Tarantula. Tarantula.
Nice.
Yay!
Yeah, our first live show.
First live show, yeah.
Yeah,
There you
very
go.
good.
First of many to come. I was
Oh,
looking
yeah.
for a clapping emoji.
There's one.
It's a
That was
pleasure
good.
coming home and hearing her practice.
Oh, I bet. I bet you're proud as hell of her.
I'm happier for her. I'm very proud of her, but I'm very happy for her too, because this is something that is a very positive change in her life, and it'll last her lifetime.
Yes, it will, and she loves to do it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Very much so. Excellent, Ava. Thank you very much.
Yes.
So if anybody's got any questions they want to type in here, we'll ask Patrick.
Or call in.
Or call in. Either way, we do have a phone line.
Come on, man. Make that number worth the money we're paying for.
Yeah. What is it? 419-741-4090. Call in, say hi.
Jaren says that I'll be the new intro for the show, what she played.
Yeah, there you go.
She's actually written a piece. It's 15 pages long.
Wow.
And
Wow.
it's an instrumental, obviously.
Obviously.
And she's played it for her instructor, and Miss Peggy is a great piano teacher. I can't recommend her enough. If anyone needs piano lessons, she was here in town, but her husband took a job in Pennsylvania, and now we're doing it on Skype, and it hasn't affected the quality of her training one bit.
Wow, that's cool. On Skype, huh? Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I just set her tablet up here on this stand, and it looks over at the piano, and Peggy's got two cameras on hers, one that can look down on her hands, and the other one she's looking at her. She can see Ava's hands real clear, and this woman's a real deal. She's played everything.
Hi, we got another caller. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hey, this is Ronald from Minnesota.
Hey, buddy, Ronald.
Ronald.
How,
All right. So I was wondering, I have the Eureka Gold detector, Mine Lab, and I'm missing the lower bracket got broken off, the clip on it. And so now I need a new, I had two brackets, but somehow during my move to my house, I had lost the other bracket for some reason. And I don't have and the electronics box has no way to mount to the handle. But the other question I had is, on the coils, on that one there, it's just a small 6-inch oval type of coil. What's the difference between that and, say, what you were talking about, the double D coil?
Okay. A concentric coil, the round ones are concentric coil, usually. And the double Ds usually are longer one direction than the other. The double D has like two circles of wire that overlap in the middle. And the signal alternates back and forth between the two. And what it does is where the coils intersect, that's the deepest part of where the signal goes into the ground, because your machine puts out a frequency into the ground, and it excites a piece of metal that's in the ground, which in turn sends a return frequency that the machine detects and translates. And the concentric coil is just one coil of wire, and the signal is in the shape of a cone. So the sweet spot is a little point right in the middle. It may be a little bit. Yeah.
On this Eureka Gold, could I upgrade that coil to a double D? Would that work with the Eureka Gold?
I couldn't tell you specifically if it would, but if you get a hold of Debbie Smikoski with Mine Lab, she's the representative for the United States, I believe. She is a whiz and knows everything about those machines. Her name is Debbie.
Where is she at? Is she in Australia, or is she here in the United States?
She's here. I think she's from Chicago, I believe. She's all over. She goes to the gold shows. And, all the metal detecting. It's Debbie Smikoski, I believe is her name. But if you look up MindLab and Debbie SM, start typing SM, it'll pop up.
Okay, good deal. I'll do that. And then, yeah, I haven't had any luck with emailing them. And they sent back one time, where do you live at? And I told them where I lived at. And they said, we don't know where that's at. We're not going to talk to you. I never got anything back from them since then. So I've been sitting here trying to figure out how to fix it. And I was just trying to find out if somebody might have one, an extra one or something like that they might have laying around. So.
My E-Track came with, it had a pinpointer that plugged into the system attached to it, a sunray probe. And it's riveted to the upper shaft of the E-Track. And then they soldered all the connections together. Well, the switch was kind of easy to turn on and off, and I'd be swinging along, and all of a sudden I get a signal, and I go to try and spot it with my machine into pinpoint mode, and I couldn't find it. And I'd throw my hands up, and I'd go looking, and next thing I know, I got another one. It turned out my sunray probe was detecting my keys hanging on my hip.
Oh, no.
I decided I didn't really like the sunray probe. The Garrett Carrot is just as sensitive and a lot more convenient. You know, I find the convenience of having it attached to my machine. So, but I couldn't get it off of the upper shaft without desoldering all the wires to get to the rivets. I didn't want to destroy it because somebody out there wanted it. They're machine specific. And so I had an old Explorer that I just kept around for parts. It turns out that the upper shaft, although it's white and my E-Track's black, it was the right size. So my machine has a white upper shaft off of an Explorer on it.
All right. Well, thank you for that information. I will look up that name and find out if I can get some help with this. Thank you for the music. That was some great piano work. Whoever was doing that.
Thanks, Ron. Yeah, Ava, she's 7. She's been taking piano lessons now for a little over a year, and it's coming together. She's getting it.
Sounds better than a year. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, good deal. All right, we'll let somebody else call in and have a great night. And
take care,
I'll
brother.
keep listening to your show. Yeah, bye.
Thank you, Ronald.
Yeah.
All right, on that note,
Patrick.
Wait, Jess, wait 1 second. Sorry, Jesse, hold that thought.
Better write it down.
We're into an hour. Let's
time
have
for a commercial break.
That's right. A little commercial break for our friends over at Prospectors Radio. We'll be right back. Thank you. All right, Jesse. Sorry to do that to you, buddy.
Okay, let me look. Let me look through my notes here. No.
Yeah, let me dig through the
notes. You were talking about double D coil. I want to ask you about coils. When you say a double D, is that a specific coil to like an ACE, or is that just a type of coil?
It's just a configuration of a coil. It's
okay. So you can get a double D coil on just about any machine.
I'm not sure you can get them on just about any machine. Some machines come with them, like the 350 comes with one, but the 250 has the concentric coil, and you may or may not be able to put a double D on a 250, but it won't make it the same machine.
No. I guess what I'm asking is that something exclusive to a Garrett, or
no? Most of your MindLab machines, a lot of them have a double D configuration on their coil.
Okay, so double D just means it's a type of configuration. It's not specific to any machine. So what other type of coils are there?
Oh, I don't know that much about all the different types. I know there's some big ones out there. I have one for my AT Pro that's about 16 inches across, and I believe it's a D configuration, just the two coils that overlap.
Okay.
But it changes the geometry of the machine. It makes it, it might only be 3/4 to a pound heavier, but man, it's really hard on the shoulder. And they make harnesses that you can put on to hold your machine up, but I'm not into all that.
It just sounds like more contraptions to move out of the way when you get down to dig.
Yeah, I don't believe that the bigger coil, from my experience, adds a lot of depth. It just because the machine only puts out so much signal, and it's just spreading that signal out over a bigger coil, and it just puts more targets underneath of the coil at one time if there's trash in the field. And I do better with the little 11-inch that come with it.
Yeah. Jaren's got another question here. Have you ever used a Nell coil?
An NEL coil?
NEL, yeah.
I believe that my big coil for the AT is an NEL coil. I'd have to go and dig it up off the wall in there and look at it, but I believe that it's not a storm. It's a big coil, and I believe it is an NEL. It's just an aftermarket manufacturer. They make coils for different machines, to my understanding.
So NEL is just a name brand then?
Yeah, it's a company that manufactures coils. Yeah, and they have different. NEL makes several different coils.
Gotcha. I'll see.
There may be other aftermarket coil manufacturers out there. I don't know. I have one machine that it's an old machine from the 60s. It's a beat frequency oscillation. You got your and it's a Bill Mayer Detectorists, and the coil that's on it is like maybe 12 inches across. I've seen pictures. They had a coil for that was 2 feet across, a big square thing.
So that just covers more ground at one time then, huh?
Yeah, it just covers a larger area. That machine now, it'll come on and barely will find a quarter laying on the surface. Machines have come a long way since the days that one was built.
Okay, I'm watching this conversation going on here, and what are they talking about? How did we get into bras, Simon? What did
Thomas
I say?
did it. Thomas did it.
What did I say?
It was Double D brought about bras.
Oh, the double D's. Thomas, you're supposed to keep us out of the gutter, not put us in the gutter.
This shows he's still alive.
Yeah. What are they talking about?
It's fun. I sat there reading it, just giggling to myself.
I missed it. See what happens when you're live?
Sometimes I laugh out loud.
Yeah. So tell us some more, Patrick. I don't know what more to ask you.
Oh, what was your scariest? Oh, yeah, night
okay, yeah.
I think night hunts would be cool.
Scariest? Oh, man, we've had some people, some kids at this park started to assault Susie, and I had to drop my machine and chase after them. That was pretty frightening.
Yeah, imagine.
I haven't been chased by any creatures yet, no dogs or anything like that. No, the only time I've really had a fright was up in Montana when I was gold prospecting. A cow snuck up on me. I swore it was a bear.
Yeah, them deadly cows with their fangs and horns and stuff.
Well, I was in the middle of bear country,
I'll say,
My buddy had a flat tire. It's like, I don't have a spare. I got to go back into town. Well, I had shipped all my gear up there. I wasn't going back in town. I wanted to prospect. And I'm here in the middle of nowhere in bear country. Never, couldn't get comfortable. And I'm in this creek sluicing, and things are going good. And I'm starting to calm down, and all of a sudden, crashing through the brush. I jumped up. I just about crapped my pants, man. And yeah, it was a cow, not a bear. There was no calming down again after that. He got back a couple hours later. I was really glad to see him.
Get me out of here.
Yeah, I had a can of bear repellent spray, that pepper spray, but from my understanding, the bears just use that for seasoning.
Yeah, it's a good way to get them pissed.
Yeah.
So what do you got planned for the future here as far as your metal detector? You got any trips planned or anything?
No, we're just now starting to head into our cabin fever season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Got to clean off my machines, take the coils off the covers, knock the dirt off of them, clean everything up, take the batteries out, get them ready for winter.
Well, that's interesting. Is there never thought about I guess getting your machines ready for sitting around for the winter. So I imagine there is some prep work, isn't there?
Just a little. You don't want to leave your batteries in them.
Right.
If your coil has a cover, stuff gets up in there, and it's pretty easy to take them apart and pop that coil cover off and clean out that gunk and put it back together. So in the springtime, you're ready to go.
Yeah, you definitely recommend taking the batteries out. It's going to sit that long.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I need to do that.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
Just like cleaning the old hunting rifle before you put it up.
Yeah.
Yep. You still have that old Garrett in the box there, Ed?
Yeah, sure do.
Still looking to sell that?
Yeah, sure will.
I'm interested in buying that. I've been collecting old metal detectors, and that would be a nice addition to my collection.
And she works. I've found silver with it in my backyard.
That's cool. Silver's a nice target. Everyone loves to find silver, and most every machine will find it because it's got a real high conductivity. It's not easily confused with junk targets. And there's lots of it in the ground. They were using silver coins up until the 60s, and there's plenty of them out there.
Yeah, it was a silver dime. Found it with my grandson. So.
Yeah, I've got an old coin master.
One of the blue ones?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I picked that up at a auction for like $5.
They're good machines.
Are they? Yeah, it still works too. In fact, it still has the tag from White's Metal Detector here in Sylvania where they worked on it a few years back.
I'd like to find enough people that have these vintage machines, because I have a couple of working vintage machines myself and have a vintage metal detecting hunt.
Oh, cool.
There you go. Ronald has another question. What would be better, the Goldbug 2 or the White's GMT?
Oh, that's way out of my league. I've not really done much nugget shooting. I've only went out once nugget shooting, and I didn't know what I was doing when I did it. And I would do better now because I have a better suited machine for it. Yeah, you'd have to ask somebody that goes out west and does a lot of nugget shooting, which is a better machine, because I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
That'd probably be a good question for Kevin.
Yeah, he'd definitely be better suited to answer a question like that.
Ronald, write that question down, because when we have Kevin Hoagland on in the future, which he agreed to be on along with Brandon, the new owner of the GPA. Haven't inked in a date yet, but I talked to them at the Gold Show, and they'll be glad to be on. Probably sometime in late January or late December. So I'm sure Kevin could answer that. Him being from Arizona and do a lot of nugget shooting.
Oh yeah, he does lectures on it. He knows
Right.
that kind of detecting, like the back of his hand.
Right.
I'm just an
Yeah.
all-terrain guy. I go to the parks with the kids. I'll go out in fields and detect and looking for relics and coins and whatever. I'd like to get into nugget shooting, but unfortunately, there aren't a lot of nuggets around here to shoot for.
Okay, Mr. Lodak has something. Jaron, Patrick, has anyone ever put a penny in your coil cover, or have ever you done it to anyone else, or have you ever done it to anyone else? Practical joke.
That would be a mean practical joke. It would drive you nuts.
What would I mean? Would it just be signaling off?
You think your machine was broken, yeah. Unless a guy actually took the cover off and thought enough to do that, he'd probably turn off the machine and not be able to do anything, until I gotta get my machine fixed. It's broke.
Here, let me fix it for you.
Yeah, there you go. Now, I do have about 20 pounds of can tabs out here, though, that I've been threatening to go to one of these hunts and toss them out in the field.
That'd be rotten. That'd be rotten. But funny.
Yeah, for about 5 minutes until I'm run out.
So if we're ever in Utah, metal detecting with Jaron,
remember,
we need to keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
Keep your hands on your detector.
The phone lines are still open. Don't be afraid to call.
Well, yeah, winter's also a good time to check your supplies. Make sure that, you go through. Everybody's got a little tote they carry all their pinpointers and shovels and gloves and stuff in. And, it's a good time to get that new pair of gloves, have them waiting for spring, sharpen up the edge of your shovel a little bit, dump that extra dirt out of the bag. You carry that 5 pounds of extra dirt you've been carrying around all season.
I'm paying it first. Yeah. So here, someone told me one way to not be bothered a whole lot is to wear a yellow safety vest.
Yes, I've heard that too. It sounds like, and I have a yellow safety vest. I had a guy invested in that color about 20 years ago. He'd be sitting really good right now.
Yeah. But yeah, I was told that, if you wear one of those, first of all, people think you belong there and that you're working. Right. So they don't come up and bug you.
I wear yellow shirts at work, and I've gone detecting and in my construction shirt. Mm-hmm. And people have actually come up to me and asked me what I'm doing, thinking I'm at work.
Right. And if you, and I know you wouldn't do this, but they also use it for being, let me say, in spots where they shouldn't be.
Oh, yeah.
And they have and even the police have a tendency to just drive by because you look like you're working.
Right.
Not that I would ever do anything like that.
No.
Or you.
Police are usually pretty good to deal with when I'm detecting. If you're where you belong, every so often you'll get one that thinks they know more than you do, and they'll run you off. And you know what? It's just better to not pick that fight.
Right.
Just
there are better fights to fight.
Yeah. Now, Jan one time, apparently, an armored car or something dumped over in front, right near where she worked. And she got out there and got a couple buddies over there, and they rounded up all the coins that fell out of this truck. Which, that would be pretty cool.
Wow. That'd be fun.
Yeah. You don't get to keep any of it, but...
Well, hey, you did your civic duty.
it builds a rapport with people that could lead to future permissions.
Right, and that's and that's always a good thing to do that for the future. I mean, what we were talking earlier. People get out there and they dig holes. They don't fill them in. They make it look terrible. When you can turn that around, that's really great for the hobby.
Yep.
Do you consider that a hobby
or a lifestyle?
I always tell people I do construction for money. I metal detect for my living. So yeah, I guess, but it's my hobby. I have all kinds of hobbies going on, and it's just my favorite one right now until the knees give out.
Yep.
Catches up to all of us, that age thing.
Oh yeah.
Not so much age, all the work we've done.
Yeah, I've just signed up for an arthritis study for my knee, so I hope they don't give me the placebo. I want the stuff, man.
You want the real stuff. Don't make me the guinea pig.
Kids seem to be attracted every time we go out, and if a kid sees you, they invariably come up. And a lot.
So you ever knowing that, you ever carry an extra metal detector?
I usually have an extra metal detector in the car. We always carry a spare, and on occasion we've had kids come up and I've put a metal detector in their hand, let them use it.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's great. That's awesome.
That's a good time, and it's like gold prospecting. It's just a good equation. Kids and dirt.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Digging in dirt. That's awesome. So have you? Ed and I we've done a couple Boy Scout things. Have you done anything like that? Any organized hunts for groups like that?
We've had a couple of kids hunts over at Gold Rush and stuff.
Right.
No, I did the Boy Scout thing one time. It was pretty entertaining. I like the look on the kid's face when they see that gold for the first time. And it's the same thing metal detecting. They dig up that first coin. It doesn't matter if it's a penny or if it's a silver dollar. They're just as excited.
So one of the places that I hit around here once in a while is bus stops.
Mm-hmm.
Those are always interesting. I found keys and coins and pretty interesting areas.
Yeah, Sue separates our finds into groups. One of the groups we have is keys. We find a lot of keys, and every time I find the keys, I kind of sympathize, because somebody was having a bad day and lost their keys. We've all lost our keys.
We've all been there. That's no fun.
That whole hunk of keys, it's like, oh, that poor guy.
Yeah, and then here's the thing: how do you stop looking for them? That somebody else would find them, years later.
I know, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've spent a day, 2 days looking for a set of keys. How do you stop until you find them?
Well, you'd be like some of us, keep a spare set stuck underneath of the bumper in that little magnet box.
Yeah, well, we don't all do that. I think you're referring to something a few years back.
Yeah. The coolest key I found, though, was about 12 inches long. It was a giant skeleton key. I call it a church key because cut into the head, it looked like a cross. I think it was a novelty, though, or a bottle opener or something, but it was pretty old. I really, that's my biggest key. Every time somebody's like, hey, look, I found a skeleton key, because skeleton keys are super cool to find. I found a few of them. But I always whip out that big old 12-inch skeleton key, and they're like, holy moly.
Church key, huh?
A church. I think it was a bottle opener. But it could have been a key, I guess. It looks like every other church key.
Big door.
Yeah. Just a big lock. I've been working at a church lately, remodeling a real old church here in Columbus, and I'm looking at the grounds around it, just drooling, wishing I could swing my machine in there.
Have you asked?
Yeah, they're not going to let me in there. We
No?
did some work at the Josephinum up on 23, and I went so far as to ask, and they said, no, you can't do that.
I often wonder why they would say no.
Yeah, they keep their grounds pretty nice there.
Well, I guess that would be one good reason.
Yeah. I usually tell people if if I can hunt your property, if I find anything of significant value, I'd be more than happy to share it with you, or something that is obviously specific to the property that, out of Buddy, he got a permission to do this old house, early 1800s house. He's out there in the yard, and he found an old door knocker. And he takes this door knocker up to the house, and he could see where it would attach to the door. He could see the 2 holes in the old door had filled in. It was the original door knocker to the house.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, those people were real happy with him. He got a lifetime permission there.
Oh, I bet.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. You can't get better than that, can you?
No, that's good stuff, man. That's that's what it's about.
So when you use that what was that called again? Aerial
Maps,
historic aerials. When you use that and you find a piece of property where there used to be a building, but now there's nothing. How do you go about getting permission for a place like that, or do you just go in there and hope no one says anything?
Well, I know our county. I go to the auditor's office, their website.
Okay.
And I think most counties in Ohio are like that, and they have record of at least where they send the tax bills.
Mm-hmm.
And you can often find the owner of a property that way.
Yeah.
Or you see somebody out working a field. You ask them where the field at the end of my road here. I found the owner there. He's a fellow up in Dublin, and he said, "Yeah, I can play in his fields. He's got hundreds of acres over here to play in." And now that the beans are down, I need to get out there and walk them fields and look for piles of brick, because that's an indicator that there was a house. You start seeing bits of brick laying in amongst the dirt. Something was going on there.
Have you ever come across arrowheads while you've been beeping fields?
I've not. I know people that have. I just haven't. I usually paying attention to the numbers on my machine while I'm listening to the beep. I suppose if I paid more attention to the ground, I might have run across one by now, but I just haven't.
You're just not looking.
No, I'm really not looking for them. It would be cool to find one, and the conditions got to be pretty right. It's got to be on top of the ground, and if it's been raining, and they tend to glisten a little bit, and I just don't like to get that muddy.
You don't mind doing a park.
Yeah, get in the grass, because I can make a nice clean plug in the grass and flip it over and dig up my target and put it back, and pretty much nobody knows I've been there.
That's an art to making a plug that you can feel. That takes quite a bit of practice. I know I killed a few spots in my yard learning.
Yeah.
But I figured it'd be better if I learned in my yard as opposed to a stranger's yard.
That's how I thought about it.
It gives me permission to, yeah, okay, I'm gonna let you come in here. Just don't kill my yard. And I go in there. The next thing you know, you got all these little dark spots, dead spots all over the yard because I didn't do it right.
Well, yeah, of course. If it's been 90 degrees for a week and you haven't had any rain, yeah, you really don't want to dig a hole in somebody's yard.
Right.
If it's going to rain the next day and the ground's not too dry, yeah, it's a pretty safe bet you're not going to kill anything.
So that's something I didn't take into account. I have to remember that. Has it rained lately? No. Then don't dig in it.
Yeah, probably not.
Now, on your plug, do you make a hinge type where you don't cut a full round circle plug? Or You cut a hinge and flip it up, and
That's how I like to do it. You know, keep that grass attached as much as you can, especially if the target's shallow. You don't have to take the plug out of the hole, you know. And I'm usually not digging stuff that's a foot down, so I don't have to do like the digger guys. Get out there with a backhoe out there and excavate, you know.
now, do you have something you take with you, a towel or something, put on the dirt on and dump it back in the hole while you're done?
I've used a towel on many occasions. Just depends on the soil, you know. I'm at a park and it's just, you know, nice grass and black dirt underneath of it. You can usually just shovel that stuff back in with your fingers. But yeah, if I'm in somebody's yard, I'll definitely take a towel along with me to, you know, leave a good impression when I'm gone.
Right. Sure they can't see where you dug.
That's right. Yeah, I got to do a couple of houses over there near that old Camp Chase. There's a neighborhood that sits over what used to be a POW camp here in town. And I often wonder if these people realize where their house is sitting, what was there before them.
I imagine most people don't. They don't look into the history of where they're moving to. Just what's it look like now, and how close is the school, and where's the grocery store, and how good's my internet, and
yeah,
can I get good Wi-Fi here?
Yeah, when I mention it to people when I'm over in that area, a lot of the time they're real surprised, you know.
Well, I mean, first of all, who thinks of a POW camp in Ohio?
Yeah, right.
You know, so that right there is a person that throws them up. And this is a POW camp for Civil War, or yeah,
the cemetery's still there. Yeah, it was Civil War. The cemetery's still there. They knocked the stupid statue down. There was a monument in there with a statue of a Confederate soldier standing on top. They knocked it off and busted the head off of it. Fools, man. I can't believe it. That's the place that statue belongs.
That's
right.
You know? That's where they belong, is in memorials like that. You know, because those were brave men that died
for their cause.
Side, you know, and I go there every once in a while and just sit in the cemetery because it's peaceful, and the stones are peaked. That indicates that they were Confederates, and they got their name and what state they came from and what their division was. And every so often you'll see one that says citizen. It turns out that if you as a northerner helped them in any way, if they came and stayed at your house or something and then you got captured with them, they would send them to the POW camps too. So they weren't all Confederates in there.
Oh, some were just regular citizens helping.
Yep, or either helping or got swept up. You know, I'm sure there was a couple innocent people that were in there that really didn't belong. You know, and that was horrible conditions. Reading the stories about Camp Chase, man, I couldn't imagine. Between where the camp is and the river, we were doing this field, and I found a 4-gauge shotgun shell. You know how big a 4-gauge shotgun is?
I'm trying to picture that.
It takes 2 men to handle it. It shoots a pound of lead.
Wow.
They were shooting entire flocks of geese or ducks or whatever waterfowl they were shooting at, and probably to feed, you know, themselves at the camp.
It's from that era.
They were outlawed. About 1900, they were outlawed. So they were around back in the 1800s. And it may have very well been shortly after the Civil War. It probably wasn't during the Civil War. I'm not sure if they had shotguns during the Civil War. They may have. I don't know. Perhaps somebody that knows more about guns than I could tell us that.
I thought shotguns have been around for a long time.
I think probably in the wars, probably whatever gun you could get in your hands back then, huh?
What's that one? The Bundle Buster or whatever?
Oh, the Blunder
Buster. Wasn't that like the black powder shotgun.
Maybe one day they stuck whatever they could get in it, old cut nails and screws. And
yeah.
Boy, imagine getting shot with that.
I found a bullet one time on the CWPPO hunt, and it was a muzzleloader round, a mini ball that hit something so hard that it turned the bullet inside out.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
I could not imagine being hit with something, because those are what, like 50 caliber? They're big around.
Yeah.
Something like the size of your thumb. Ugh, no. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. And with the state of medical technology back then, it just had to be brutal,
Really brutal. I wouldn't want to get shot, period, let alone something that big.
Well, and the weather back then, they didn't have, the kind of clothing we have today. The best they had was wool, and most of them didn't have that. There's, one day people are going to look back at us 100 years from now and go, I don't know how people lived like that.
Yep.
We wonder that now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's different times, different ideals. So it's hard to imagine. I mean, I hear people all the time, I wish I would have lived back then. I wish I would have been around when that happened. And I think about the fact that it's bad enough now. Why would you want to go back to an area or a time where you would, first of all, you wouldn't survive?
Probably not.
No, because you don't have those skills anymore. I mean, we've lost so many survival skills as we've become civilized that if we were to go back to that time, a lot of people wouldn't make it. Wouldn't make it at all.
No.
Oh, Mr. Goldsmith's made it on.
Oh yeah, there's Dick.
Hey, Dick.
Hey, Dick, tell us what that general's name is that's buried at your house.
There you go.
And hi, Melanie, also, just like Ed typed in.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, and technology is advancing at such a rapid pace right now.
We can't even keep up with it.
Yeah. Well, 20 years ago, who had a cell phone? Let alone one that's more powerful than a desktop computer was 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Go back 100 years. What was the technology like 100 years ago? It was pretty darn.
They were just building roads, dude.
Yeah. Well, now every time a new processor comes out, it's twice as powerful as the one before it. Imagine what it's going to be like in 20 years from now, 100 years from now, and that's a drop in the bucket of all time.
Yeah, Jared said he had a pager 20 years ago.
Right. I had a pager. I love it.
Oh, there it is.
When debit cards.
General Simon Kenton.
Yeah, there he typed
Simon
it in.
Kenton. He's the one the Boy Scout stuff is named after.
He's buried on Dick's property out there. There's a memorial out there for him, something of that sort.
Huh. Simon Kenton. I'll have to look him up, man. I don't know if he was a northerner, so I don't know anything about him. Other than these Boy Scout stuff's named after him.
You said it's a Boy Scout camp or what?
Yeah, the Simon Kenton, whatever. It's a large group of scouts. It's like more than one. Yeah, it's a region of Boy Scouts.
Right.
Named after the Simon Kenton Council. That's it.
Okay, yeah.
Up there near Mansfield. That's where the Simon Kenton Council is. That area, that part of the state. Yeah. I imagine the town of Kenton was named after him. I imagine. Right. You know?
It could be,
That's where they always have, the coon dog hunt? The big coon dog thing? Kenton?
Yes. Yes, they do.
Never been to it, but always wanted to go. I heard it was a good time.
I went to a coon dog trials once. It was matter of fact, it was when I first got into gold prospecting. I was wanting to go out, and we're headed up, and then I realized, they got that stupid gold rush days thing going on. I don't want to go to that. There's going to be a bazillion people there. We ended up at a coon dog trial out there near Johnstown.
So what was that like?
And then went to the Frazee, and there was nobody there, so it was a good time.
Yeah, coon hunted a lot when I was young. That was always a good time.
I only went out once, and toward the end, about 5 o'clock in the morning, we were headed back to the house, and one of the dogs got run over, and that made the whole thing sour. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fortunate I had the gun in my hand and not the guy who owned the dog, because he probably would have shot at the crap. He would have, man. Yeah.
Yeah, not good. A little bit different if the coon gets them.
Well, guys, this has been a good time. I've been coming to the shed, man.
Hanging out with the Ed.
There you go.
Well, the three amigos, right?
Yeah, you got it.
I'm live from my mobile studio.
And I'm in my kitchen. Which isn't done yet.
Are you working on a kitchen remodel?
Oh, yeah. Have been all summer.
Don't you hate it? It's like drinking out of a spittoon. Once you start, you just can't stop. One thing leads to the next, man. I need a countertop. Oh, I got to get a sink. Oh, now the plumbing. Oh, I wanted garbage disposal. Now you got electric. It's just one thing after another.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want the dishwasher facing this way. I want it facing that way. So now I got to get more counter.
Nice. Nice. And and counter comes in nice even lengths. So if you want one that's 11 foot long, you have to buy the 14-foot piece of countertop and throw away the 3-foot piece of it.
Yeah, because you don't want to seam.
Yeah, I know how it is. I did my kitchen a long time ago. It's time to do it again, as a matter of fact.
Well, this has been going on. I think I did this probably 30 years ago, and now it's time to redo it.
Yeah,
I'm to the point now.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm to the point now where I'm about ready to start on the floor. Put new floor down.
Tile or wood?
Oh, laminate.
Laminate.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, the old laminate only lasted about 20 years, about 10 years actually.
Those restaurants are putting down that ceramic or china that looks like wood.
I've laid a bunch of that.
Yeah, I didn't see the point of it at first. Why not lay down wood? But for a restaurant or something, I guess it makes sense because it's durable and.
Right.
Well, I thought in a bathroom, if you want that wood look in your bathroom, that'd probably be a good idea.
There you go. Yeah, something like that. But I don't want that in the kitchen because I drop stuff.
We did it for a lady all through her kitchen and like her sunroom. Mm-hmm. And it looked really good, but I'm kind of like you. I don't know if that was the appropriate space for it or not. And she made her grout joint so wide that it didn't look realistic. I wanted her to go down like an 1/8 inch, and she left it like, I think it was 3/16 or a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
But it still looked good. It turned out good.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, so little by little, I get a little more done on it every day. Even if it doesn't look like it. I tell my wife, one day you'll come home, it'll be done. You'll go, what happened?
It's a work in progress. That's what it is.
Yep.
Every time you get ambition, a little more gets done.
Yep.
Well, it's winter time. You should be able to get a lot of it done.
I got the backsplash. Actually, I put tile up on one just about one whole wall behind the stove and the counter and everything around the windows.
Mm-hmm.
So I just got the last little pieces done, mudded in, or grouted in, I should say. And now got to clear this room out so I can start laying the floor down. Joy. Fortunately, I've done it before, so it'll be pretty easy.
There you go. Yeah, and doing
so,
the floor last, you don't have to worry about getting stuff all over your new floor.
Nah, I don't care. I'm gonna get stuff on it anyways. It's when I buy a car. When you buy your car, your brand new car, right? Until you get that first ding in your car, all you do is worry about getting that first ding in your car.
Yeah.
You see people parking off funny, so nobody parked close to them and this and that. I say the hell with that. Put it right in the middle of the parking lot. Get your first ding in it. Get it over with. Free ding it. There you go. Ram a cart into it. Get it done.
Yeah. I got that little red Mazda, and I've been driving it now. This will be like third year, and I managed to keep it pretty ding-free. Well, then until I hit that deer last October, and that was kind of a drag.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
It doesn't take much damage to rack up $5,000 worth of damage.
Oh, hell no. That's easy.
And the sheriff, he's like, "Hey, do you want the deer?" I'm like, yeah, I can't really put it in here. And there was some fellow up there on the hill with a pickup. He's like, "I'd like to have it." I'm like, "You can have mine."
Yeah, he's probably sitting around waiting.
Yeah.
There's another one to get.
Feeds his family,
Yeah.
Good for him, the thing was, I had 100 buddies 5 miles away, but I couldn't get any phone reception up there because somebody would have took it.
Oh, no doubt. Yes, yes, Thomas. And now
Thomas
talking
says
about
we're getting
killing
off
deer.
track.
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to bid you adieu.
All right, Patrick.
Well,
Ava,
Patrick, it's
thank
been
you
nice.
for joining us.
Well, thanks for stopping by.
Yes.
Hey, thanks for having us, man. It was a really good time, and I'll see you real soon.
Yep. And Ava, you still there?
Ava's not here right now. She's went ahead and gone to bed. It's a school night for her.
Oh, okay. That's true. That's true. Well, tell her we all thoroughly enjoyed her little recital and can't wait to hear more.
There will be more to come. She actually decided she wants her own YouTube channel.
Uh-oh.
So
nice.
We get that going. We get that going. She's a little techno whiz. She knows all about computers and stuff, and we have to keep a close eye on her because there's stuff out there that you don't want your kids
be careful. You make sure
to.
Yes, make sure that you're well aware of what's going on around her.
Yeah.
In online like that, because it's very scary out there. You get some of these people out there know how to talk to little kids, and
we monitor all that stuff.
That's good.
You know what? She's such a pleasure to have her around.
I love being around her. She's an awesome little girl.
A good
She's
kid.
Just so much fun to be around.
Smart, and she has ambition, and I'm hoping the best for her. Like I say, I'm real happy for her that she's learning this piano. It was an accident. She's real good at math. Maybe it'll translate over to piano. And the Miss Peggy, her instructor, says, I usually don't take kids this young. I said, well, why don't you meet her and then you make your decision. And as soon as she met her, she fell in love with her too. She's like, I think I can teach her. And it turns out she's got an exceptional ability to be. She's not a prodigy. Not like Beethoven composing when he's 5 years old or nothing like that. But she's got a real knack for it, and I'm glad.
Well, I don't know. It sounds like she's composing already at 7. So what are you talking about?
I know, right?
She's already got an opera going on here.
I'm glad she likes the classics, though. She really.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It could be worse. It could be hip hop.
Oh yeah,
no doubt. Yeah.
Get her from the classics to the classic rock.
There you go. She likes
Yeah.
classic rock. We spend
Yeah.
a lot of
Put a
time listening to
guitar in
classic
her
rock.
hands, a drum
Then she can
set.
set in with you.
We listen to the Beatles channel a lot, and
Cool.
she's been noticing how John Lennon really pounds on that piano when he's playing, and Jerry Lee Lewis makes her laugh. And we watched a video, and she's like, "Ha, he turned around and hit it with his butt."
Right. Well, that's cool that she watches some of those old people, some of the older stuff, because it shows them where it's coming from, where this music is coming from, and she can be part of that generation that heads it into a certain direction. Hopefully, it's in a good direction.
We owe it to our kids to subject them to the cool stuff in life.
Absolutely.
Metal detecting's cool, music's cool, gold prospecting's cool. You know, keep them out of trouble.
Yes, sir. Playing in the dirt's cool.
Yeah, keep them busy doing good stuff, and hopefully they won't get involved in bad stuff.
Yeah, keep them with good, keep them with good people, and good things happen.
All we can do is try,
All right, brothers. Well, you take care of yourselves.
Well, we appreciate you being here, Patrick, and we will see you around soon, huh?
Yeah, until our trails cross again.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Patrick. Thanks for showing up.
On that note, I know I gotta wake up early, and this time change is still messing with me.
Oh yeah. I wanna. You guys know who Chris Jericho is?
The wrestler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a show coming on the the Travel Channel, where he goes around looking for treasures in America. There'll be a show on with him and a fellow prospector, Timothy Draper, on the 17th on the Travel Channel. So it's at 11 o'clock Eastern time at night. So it's about just different treasures throughout the country. It's The Legend of with Chris Jericho. So I guess he travels around looking for different treasures and stuff like that.
Cool. You have him as a friend on Facebook?
Timothy Draper, who I think runs this Facebook page, posted that on November the 17th at 11 o'clock on the Travel Channel, The Legend of with Chris Jericho. Let's see. Watch us uncover Butch Cassidy's history and look for his hidden loot in Utah.
Oh, cool.
There's a little more here.
You should contact him.
Stay tuned for more information coming up very soon. Find your adventure. Yeah, I did. I was kind of hoping he'd show up in the chat tonight, but I don't see him. But I will continue to talk to him, and definitely going to watch that. And then, we're missing the preview, or not the preview, but the first show of Curse of Oak Island.
Oh well.
Well, I got it. I'm recording it. I'll watch it later.
I don't have cable, so.
Right.
Oh well. But next week we have Rich Cooley from Prospectors Radio, our friend. He's also in the chat, so that should be a pretty good show. I'm looking forward to it. Prospected a few times with that guy. Damn good cook.
Yes, sir. Makes a killer breakfast.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he says he's going to get with you sometime this week.
Yep.
So.
But I think it's about that time, guys. What do you say?
Yeah, I think we're about on the mark, aren't we? Yeah, 10
Yeah,
o'clock.
pretty
Bam.
much. Pretty
Dang.
much. Time flies when you're having fun and in great
Right.
company.
It was good talking to Pat tonight. You know, he's got some interesting stuff to say.
Sure it was. Hearing the little music we heard.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're going to have Sam Waters. She's going to be on next month, did you say?
Yeah, 5th of December.
Very
we have
cool.
Rich Cooley on the 14th next week. We have
Right.
MDV from iPan for Gold on the 21st. Ray from Sluice to You PayDirt on the 28th. Then we have Sam Waters on the 5th of December. And then from there, I'm working on it.
So how's our Patreons doing? We got any new Patreons?
Well,
I haven't heard
we
you
haven't
mention
got any new ones as of the last time, but right now we have our friend and fellow prospectors and OSPAers, the Wandering Buffaloes, Kathleen Biffle. We have Tim Grimes, the creator himself of Gold Prospector Space and Prospectors Radio. Make sure to tune into their show tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 o'clock our time here on the East. We have John Shaw, our friend who called in earlier, and our newest patrons are Wayne and Deb Wagner. They're also OSPA members and Buckeye chapter members.
Yeah, he just became a lifetime member of the GPA.
Right. So every bit helps. I'd like to thank them very much. It's gonna help here with us in the long run, in the short run. And if you're wondering what that $sign is, or super chats in chat, is another way to make a contribution to the channel, to the show. So
You just click on it?
yeah, you click on it and you can put in anything, $1, 50 cents, whatever.
You click on it and it drains your account.
Well,
Nice.
if you want to put everything you want, you can put whatever you want in there. Pays
Very
through
cool.
PayPal or whatever.
Tomorrow night's show on GPS is West Coast Wednesdays, right?
Right.
Okay.
With Dredging Up the News with Kathleen Biffle and, Rich Cooley's on there. And they have a segment with Swifty, our good friend Scott Tony, Mr. Swiftwater, and you have Ron Harrison and Mr. I Want to Be On but hasn't been on yet, Dennis Dayton.
Hey, we keep giving them the opportunity.
Beat him up.
Oh, one of these days, so Rich Cooley, Ron Harrison, Dennis Dayton, Kathleen Biffle, and Mr. Tim Grimes himself, and their producer, and when he's able to talk, Shad Biffle. Really great guys and part of our family here at Flash in Your Pan. Be sure check them out. If you're not a member, become one.
There you go. Great place for information.
Oh yeah.
Just a great place for information and great place to find people doing the same thing you're doing, ask questions.
Right.
give answers, share knowledge. It's an awesome place.
Oh yeah, tons of videos and pictures and articles and groups within
the group
Prospectors space. It's a great social media for like-minded people.
Yep.
Prospectors, metal detectorists, treasure hunters, rockhounders, you name it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, my work's not done tonight. I need to wake up early. I know Dano the Mano too, and unfortunately we're not quite where you are yet, Jesse.
Keep working at it.
It's one of these days.
That's what happens when you start young,
Yeah, I hear you, brother. I hear you.
You get old quick.
I know.
All right, everybody.
Well, I'm out of here. And hey, it's been a pleasure. I'm glad we got quite a few people watching again. Oh, don't forget to like and share.
Like, share, and if you're watching later,
comment
below, and
yes, sir.
We'll bring up that stuff later. Heck.
Yeah, and if you got suggestions on what you'd like to, to talk about, or for us to talk about, or any subjects that that's within our, what we do, so let us know. We'll see what we can do.
No doubt. So until then,
Jonathan, we don't do giveaways. We let our guests, if they choose to, do that, but we ourselves don't do
them. If a guest wants to sponsor a giveaway, Jonathan, they're more than welcome to.
Absolutely.
But until we're able, we don't. And to be blunt, I want you all to be here because you want to be here, not because I told my kids, I'm not going to buy your loves, and I'm not going to buy your viewership or your subscription or whatever you want to call it. So,
but we won't take your money.
If I had more money to have some killer gifts, maybe for this show, but I'm a working jerk, as some would say. The apprentice we have on the job would certainly call me a jerk behind my back, I'm sure. But he has a lot of bitching coming this way, let me tell you.
All right, well, everyone, I guess on that we should say goodnight for tonight.
Yeah. Wrap her up.
Yes, sir.
May you always have a flash in your pan.
And you know what he says.
Yeah, maybe one day too. We'll see you on the river. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Good night, everyone.
Night and a great week.
Good night, Ed.
See you next Tuesday night.
Night, Ed.
Good night, Dano. Good night, Jesse.
Night, Jesse.
Good night, Ed. Good night, Dano.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
And that's what you like, Mr. Cooley Smith.
You know it.